Good evening, everyone. William Mean here, 1799. Glad you could come around. If you like this video, share, subscribe. It don't cost you nothing, and I'm not asking for anything. Leave me a comment down below. I really appreciate your help if you give it to me. We're going to touch on something a little bit, and it shows how much these politicians who all went after Donald Trump for the Russia collusion and the Ukraine phone call and all that. These guys are at it again, but now they went to a different route. I'm going to tap this a little bit. I want you to listen to this real carefully.
Let's talk about it, because I've seen statistics that show that we could be saving lives now if we ban these weapons of war from being able to buy it at the local store down the street. I mean, we just can't continue to allow this to happen.
An honest disagreement we have about the Second Amendment. There are some people who think the Second Amendment means you've got the right to arm yourself with whatever weaponry you need to overthrow the government of the United States, and we reject that as a false interpretation of the Second Amendment and a false interpretation of the Constitution. We can ban assault weapons. We did it back in 1994. It dramatically reduced these mass shootings, and when that ban was lifted, the mass shootings went up through the roof. Again, we've shown it. And so just like we're demanding real answers and real action from the Secret Service, let us demand real action and real answers from ourselves about the nightmare of mass gun violence, which puts America into a category all its own when you compare us to the countries in the European Union or Canada or other similarly situated countries. There's nothing like what we're going through. So we got to act on the Secret Service to protect.
All right. Now, let's get to the heart of this for a minute. Weapons of war. I love this. This is where research comes into play, by the way. In 1989, the production of the first AR-15 for civilians. AR-15, armed rifle. Okay. With the AR-15 patent long expired, Jim Glazer and Carl Lewis started manufacturing the civilian version of the AR-15. Civilian version, not a weapon of war. Every weapon is a weapon of war. I don't care if it's a shotgun, a bolt-action rifle. I don't care if it's a .22. It's a weapon of war, proven on the battlefield. Now, let's continue. This opens the AR-15 open up to civilian marketing from the years 1989 to 1994. The versions of the AR-15 were classified as safety and recreational rifle firearm use and production act of 1994 within the United States. Okay. Shot that right out the hell, didn't we? Alright. I love doing stuff like this. Now, let's climb to some more neat little stuff we got here. In 1989, there were 4 mass shootings. 1990, 4 mass shootings. 1991, 8 mass shootings. 1992, 4 mass shootings. 1993, 7 mass shootings. 1994, 4 mass shootings. Now wait a minute now. They started the Brady Bill in 1994. Let's cut the chase. 1995, 2 mass shootings. 1996, 2 mass shootings. 1997, 7 mass shootings. 1998, 7. 1999, there were 8. Did it do a difference? No. So, in here's a funny thing to this. This is horrible. April 20th, 1999. Okay? In 1993, let's go that first way. November 30th, 1993, President Clinton signed the Brady Bill into law, upholding His campaign promised to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. The bill was considered the early success for the Clinton administration domestic policy agenda. However, less than 5 years, it was later challenged and before the U.S. Senate. In April 20th, 1999, the Columbine shooting. Now, before we go forward into this, the AR-15 was not really that in use at the time, but it was getting popular. Now, what they're selling here is more BS than is anything else. Around the world, there are all kinds of mass shootings. There's all kinds of murder. There's all kinds of attack by tribes, attack by Islamic tribes and other cults and other religious beliefs and other small armies of different countries. We'll go with Ukraine, why don't we? Why don't we go with ISIS, what they did in Iraq? What we do is we'll go with what happened in Afghanistan, what's still going on today. People using guns to kill everybody because you don't meet our political standards. The Second Amendment is designed to do two things: to protect you and your loved ones and your country. That is why the founders put it in place for. Okay, so let's step to a little bit further into this. President Joe Biden, who was campaigning at the time, said you want to take on a tyrannical government, you need to buy F-18s and cruise missiles. Isn't that a political threat against the American people? Sure it is. But to these people, they won't talk about it. They won't talk about any of that. The founding fathers weren't stupid because there was enemies around the world that could want to get in to take this country. Admiral Yoshimoto said that you invade the United States, for every blade of grass there's a gun behind it. And rightfully so, he was right. What kept this country free is people being armed. What kept this from being taken over by other countries is being armed. Now, I'm going to go to Columbine. I'm flipping back and forth, by the way. Here's the interesting thing about Columbine, and I did some research on that too. See, Eric used a High Point Model 995 carbine rifle, not AR-15. Dalen used a Tech DC 9mm semi-automatic handgun. It's interesting, isn't it? You see any AR-15s used? Weapons of war? Yeah, okay, we got it. Sawed-off shotgun, Savage Springfield, 6 handguns. Double-barrel shotgun, 311D, sawed-off shotgun. Now, the amount of rounds fired. Outside the school there were 3. And inside the school there were 31. Library was 21. Total 55 shots. Shotgun rounds, there was 2 inside, 4 outside, 6 in the library, total of 12. That's a shotgun. Not AR-15, a shotgun. Eric 9mm round fired, 47 inside the school, 36 outside the school, library 13, total 96. Shotgun rounds fired, inside the school 4, library 21, total 25. Now, they also had explosive devices, carbon dioxide bombs, pipe bombs, and one 1.5 gallon propane bomb. AR-15 used there, high capacity magazines, weapon of war. Yeah, right. 7 gas napalm bombs, that's what they call them, and 20 rounds of propane bombs. 20 pound, I'm sorry. 2 of them. But they don't address the issues. They address the weapon. Was an AR-15 used? No. Were they on narcotics prescribed by a doctor to help them along? Only one. But they don't address the issue. And in NASLA, same thing. And the list goes on and on and on. What we don't talk about is the mass shootings. They talk about the mass shooting, talk about the Second Amendment's all wrong. And all these people who jump up and down on this stuff say, this is all wrong, that's all wrong, that's not right, that's not what it's supposed to be. That's their interpretation, because these are the politicians that want to take over your freedom and your rights. Obama made it very clear. Ordinary people are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. Order and progress comes to those who surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign. That's what they want. They want you to surrender everything. Give up your personal rights. Give up your constitutional rights, because we're going to take them from you. That's basically what they're saying here. People, you can't just let these people just walk in and just say, dictate to you this, without feeding you the rest of the story. I only gave you a quarter of it. That's the research I was able to come up with. There's more. I found a lot more. But all it takes is a little time to sit back and research these anti-gun people. You're not the problem. I'm not the problem. The firearm's not the problem. It's the criminals the problem. Now, just recently, there's been a lot of illegal trafficking of firearms coming into this country. They don't tell you where they came from. They're just saying we have illegal firearms and drugs. New York, Philadelphia, you name it. But they don't talk about that. The anti-gun people don't talk about that. People getting killed or run over. You see memorials for all the people who've been run over by careless drivers. Some are never caught. Far exceed any mass shootings. The amount of people dying from drug overdoses far exceeds mass shootings. The amount of stabbings, murders, rapes, homes invasions far exceeds mass shootings. And yet, all they can do is concentrate on mass shootings. They concentrate on what you want to use. They want to tell you what you can and can't do. That's basically all it is. These politicians need to go. They're not here to represent you. That's why there's so many organizations out there, like the GOA, FBC, and so many other organizations out there in your state and out in the state areas who support your freedoms and your rights. That's why they go to the Supreme Court and lay the argument down that the government cannot do. All the government can do is sit and point fingers. That's why they want to attack the Supreme Court, because they don't like the Supreme Court says. So they make up all these lies and all these stories about Justice Thomas and other justices as well. It's not just about Donald Trump. It goes a lot further than that. It goes after you and me. You, the American people. Do yourselves a favor. Call these people up. Give an earful. And if not, throw them out the door. Take their letter, push it. Until then, keep your friends and family close. And remember what I say. Research this stuff. In the military, they teach us 2 things. Read between the lines. Hear half what you hear. And walk away, come up with your own information. Believe me, you'll be surprised at what you'll find. I want you to do yourselves a favor. Take care, have a good night, and I'll catch you around. Take care.